No, this I'll go with this one. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe told Trump and senior officials that U.S. intelligence raised serious doubts about Iran's willingness to make the nuclear concessions the deal seeks. The reason is striking. Intelligence reportedly showed Iranian officials discussing the deal among themselves in ways inconsistent in what they were telling American negotiators and mediators. The split inside Trump's team is now visible. Ratcliffe, Rubio, and Hegseth voiced skepticism internally, while Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner pushed the deal through. There was another report by Israeli media that Trump may let go of people that are opposing the deal, including, I'm not sure if you saw that.
And what they say in that report, Mario, which came out today, I published the Substack analysis yesterday morning, early yesterday morning. And this report confirms what I'm telling you about Iran's goals here. I don't have eavesdropping information. I'm an academic. I'm looking at this from facts and logic here about what you can see in the open source. What Ratcliffe is saying in the more detailed readout from that is they're already planning for the next round of the squeeze. You see, so they're already thinking this is just basically a sucker move. Let's get Trump to go down this road, because then they're going to squeeze him again and again. And they got the Red Sea. They also talk a bit about the Red Sea here. So there are multiple.
Iran to squeeze Trump?
It's Iran to squeeze Trump and the world. So this is not a case where Iran is, squeamish, they're about to comply. No, that's not what's happening here. What's happening is Iran is pursuing power. And this is the big message here. Trump lost the bombing and Iran gained power. Trump is at great risk of losing the negotiation, and Iran is going to gain power. Notice the pattern here. They're going to keep gaining power. That's their what they are on the trajectory of. And that's what's really important to see, because as their leverage and power grows, they have more ambition. Their ambition, as I've been trying to explain for quite some time, is that they want to move on this trajectory to become the regionally dominant power. And so far, this is, nearly 110 days into this. They're actually moving quite far down that road here in just a few months. They've made quite a bit of progress in that. And these negotiations now are going to help them make even more progress.
Do you think they'll abide by their side of the deal? There's not much they need to do, really. What is their strategy? Moving forward? I understand they want to squeeze Trump. They want to become a regional
I think
power,
in the next few months, let me
building
just
a nuclear weapon
or strategy here. So what they have done to even get to the deal is, notice they've got the Qataris, they've got UAE. There may be others behind the scenes, essentially paying off or siding with Iran in order to make the deal. In other words, what they have already done is not just taken Hormuz. Since April, they basically took Hormuz in March, and then April is when the world woke up and realized, oh my God, they actually have Hormuz. But then what happened is they didn't just sit back. They have been doing negotiations. And those negotiations were with Russia, with China, with Pakistan, and Qatar, and Oman, and now apparently the UAE. And what is happening in that period from April until now is they have been moving those Gulf states. So you might recall, if you go back to our tapes, Mario, in March, I was saying that there was going to be a fracture of the Gulf state coalition. There would be different groups, and they would start to move in different ways, and some would start to side with Iran. Well, that's what you are seeing. They're not forming a military alliance with Iran, but they are siding, they're pulling away from America, and they're siding with Iran, and they're doing it to different degrees. But that's power for Iran, because that helps to build its sphere of influence. And notice at the same time, that idea of the Abraham Accords just has gone poof. And that was building a sphere of influence for Israel. So this is relative power, not just absolute power as well. So now they're in the position, we're looking ahead with the actual negotiations here with Trump, is it's a next play of the power trajectory. And that play is squeeze Trump, make it embarrassing for Trump and gain money. Because money and resources really do help with power. And this is a lot of money. I mean, the $12 billion that we're talking about up front, that's almost 10 times what Obama gave allowed Iran to have, so which was 1.7 billion. So this is politically embarrassing for Trump. It's a lot of money here. That's money like that they can use. Money's fungible. They can use it in all kinds of ways to build a military, the assets of regional influence, you want to put it that way. And this is just the beginning, because they're going to make $1 billion a week. Okay, so they got that coming in. Then at the end of 60 days, for just simply selling $1 billion a week, they're supposed to get another 12 billion. So think about the bonuses here that keep rolling in, as here. And then after 60 days, they can repeat this whole process. They can just simply say, well, look, we did this for 60 days, not good enough. And so we're closing the Strait of Hormuz again. And I'm telling you, this is a very straightforward, realist strategy to gain power, because in 60 days, they're guaranteed to get a big plus for that 60 days, even if it turns out you go back to full-scale war. At any point along the way here, Mario, full-scale war could break out on any given day. So this isn't like a stable situation. But the way Iran has set it up is they benefit literally day by day by day. And Trump is further behind day by day by day.
Okay, so how will Israel react to all this? Israel's goal is to make sure Iran does not become a regional power. You've got Iran now controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Gulf countries, instead of going to Abraham's Accords, they're going closer to Iran, realigning or revisiting their alliances and realigning with Iran. And then you have Iran being able to build up its military capabilities again with no restrictions in the MOU, including its network, including Hezbollah. That seems pretty catastrophic for Israel. What are they going to do about it?
You're exactly right, Mario. This is, in this picture that I'm painting, there are lots of losers here. Israel is the biggest loser, and it's the biggest loser in multiple ways. Number one, it was the rising power before the war. It is now the other way around. The tables have flipped on Israel. Now Iran is the rising power. Israel is declining power. The second problem that they have is they have already unleashed, which they should not have done. It was it wasn't just immoral, it was certainly immoral, but it was a strategic mistake to use the opening of this war to launch another front into Lebanon. This was a huge mistake, because as the war has turned south for Israel and the United States, now Israel is even more overstretched than ever before. And Israel is still just 7 million Jews. They didn't get another 10 million Jews somewhere. So by opening another front, this was a giant mistake. But now, if you see the power, I'm saying Iran is about to enter its period of maximum leverage. As it enters that period of maximum leverage, it is going to be able to squeeze the United States to squeeze Israel even more. And we'll have to see which of Iran's goals, as they're gaining the leverage, which do they most want? Do they want Trump to cut off military aid to Israel? Or do they want Trump to withdraw combat forces from the Persian Gulf? Or do they go for both and they just see which way Trump is going to sort this out? I think this is really very bad news for Israel, because no matter how you slice it, if America's combat forces are physically withdrawn, that hurts Israel's security. And of course, if America cuts off military aid to Israel, that's going to hurt Israel's security. So there's what are they likely to do? They're like a cornered cat. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they lash out. And I mean, they lash out to try to kill more leaders in Tehran, literally to kill the foreign minister who's doing the negotiating. Because you'll recall that this has been a pattern of Israel to actually kill the Iranian negotiators who are making deals or on the cusp of deals with the United States. I wouldn't be at all surprised. That could happen as Israel feels cornered. It is a decline. It doesn't have many options, and they start to essentially panic.
If Trump makes it very clear to Netanyahu that the US would not be involved if Israel decides to get into a war with Iran or Iran attacks Israel, if that's the case, do you think there's still a possibility that Israel gets into a war with Iran knowing the US is not there to support it?
I think Trump, words won't be enough here because you've already seen they've had shouting matches, and you've seen Netanyahu, maybe there's a pause here or there for a day or two, but Trump's shouting at Netanyahu isn't doing a whole lot. And Netanyahu is in real trouble because he's up for re-election as well. And he wants to run as somebody who is successful at defending Israel against Iran and Hezbollah. So if he bows to Trump too much here, then what's going to happen is he undermines his own political future, which is not far off. That it's not like he's got 3 or 4 years to fix this. Now, of course, he wants to have some appeasement of Trump because Trump can help him raise money in the United States for Netanyahu's reelection. So there will be American money that Netanyahu wants. So this is a bit of a politicians, threading the needle. But these these guys are black belts, Mario. This is what they do. A professor like me can't navigate that, but they really do know how to navigate that. So, but at the end of the day, there is a real dilemma here for Israel because it's in a declining powers position, and there's no bottom to this. This isn't like the bottom is about to settle out because Iran's power is likely to continue to grow. And as I've been saying for a long time, in a year and a half, I wouldn't be surprised if they really are the dominant state in the region. And that means much closer, if not over the threshold of nuclear weapons than they are today as well.